so, but I'm not up on the flow of what she's playing.
Right. I didn't think so. I didn't think there were any
I don't
like
think so.
that was left over from when it was acquired.
Yeah.
So it should be okay.
Okay.
Right.
So where's Reverend Holly to ring the bowl? Cory, are we singing this as a round?
No, we're going to do it just straight through, which I think is how it is. Like it's just listed, all four things on the side.
Would you be able to say that we're going to do it
Two times through.
Yep,
So no one needed the music stands.
correct.
It was from last week. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to-
If you would like to. You don't have to.
I know, I just didn't
Yeah.
know which chair you wanted.
It's fine. We're good. Yes. It is that time.
Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. It's really good to be here with you on this first Sunday of 2025. I don't know about you, but for me it's a year of some uncertainty. And at least we can count on being here together in this community. I'm a member of the UU Fellowship of Clemson's Worship Associate Team. I'm Barbara Stroup. And we would like to share that whoever you are, wherever you are in your life journey, you are welcome here. Whoever you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. We are so glad that you chose our fellowship as your place of worship this morning. And if by any chance you are joining us for the first time, we would like to invite you to stand and relate your name and where you're from, or whatever you would like to tell us about yourself at this time. Anybody?
Edward Baldwin.
It always happens.
Edward Baldwin, this is my wife Audra. We live in Westminster.
Great. We're glad to have you.
And I thought Edward and his wife were old timers here. Almost ran into him getting. This is our first time here.
Good.
This is my good friend Anastasia. She's going to tell about herself. And I'm Phil Kearns.
Phil.
And we have been sitting in your little building down here with the Quakers for the last few weeks.
Really? Oh, good, good.
And so I just thought, need to kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, we make a little more noise than what you're used to, I think.
And I'm a kind of an infiltrator into that group too, because I personally just am writing a story about how I found my connection to this universal love of God. And it doesn't fit in every group, so I like to be a visitor to as many as I can.
Well, I would like to go out on a limb and say I'm sure it will fit here.
I'm sure it will be.
Thank you, Phil.
Welcome. My name is Anastasia. I was born in Russia. Now I live in Greenville for about more than 10 years. I love this place very much. And it is very interesting for me to see more people, more interests in life.
Would you kindly repeat your first name?
Anastasia.
Anastasia. Thank you. For those of you who are watching us in TV land, we have met Phil and Anastasia and Ed and Audra this morning. Thank you so much. And we also welcome those of you who are using your screens this morning at home. We would like to invite everyone after the service to gather with us for coffee and social connection in the social room, which is that way. And if you are interested in our weekly newsletter, you can get in touch with our administrator and get on our mailing list. We have a few announcements. It's not too early to think about the spring auction. Elaine Faithful, who is probably down in the social room right now, is our contact person. This is going to be a special one. We have a lot of unusual contributions from people who have moved and left us, but we're looking for more. So whatever you want to contribute, Elaine would be happy to hear from you. The social action team will meet on January 12th, and all are welcome. And on January 25th, they would like you to know that at Clemson Central Library, there will be a talk about what's happening to library books. And there'll be a hike on January 16th, and Sarah is our extraordinary hike leader. We would like you to stand if you are able. Oh, okay. I do have to give this up for Reverend Holly.
I would like to also wish you a good morning, and so glad to see so many of you here. I'm the Reverend Holly Brown. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the minister here at UUFC. And I offer these opening words this morning in a form of a prayer. Let this year be a clean slate for new beginnings. I pray for stamina to finish things yet uncompleted, to call on people I neglected last year. I pray for courage to rally in the cause for peace and justice, to speak out in support when others remain silent. I pray for empathy to better understand the pain and suffering of others, to continue engaging heart to heart. I pray for patience when seeking resolution to problems, when seeking a new beginning after an ending. I pray for creativity in seeking new meanings in service, engaging others in service to the beloved community. I pray for peace between friends and families, between communities and countries. For all of these things, I pray for in this time of beginning, in this new year. Come, let us enter into a spirit of worship together, in a spirit of beginnings. I invite you to rise in body, mind, or spirit, wherever you are, to join in singing number 1003, which is in the teal hymnal and will show on the screens. Rather than doing it as a round, we're going to sing it straight through, and we're going to sing it through twice, right?
This morning's story for all ladies comes from the Jewish tradition and the Jewish New Year, which doesn't generally fall at the same time on the calendar as the Christian New Year, but it has a lot of meaning to offer, and so I would like to share it with you this morning. It's called Tashlik at Turtle Rock by Susan Schnur and Anna Schnurra-Fishman, illustrated by Alex Steele Morgan. "We always started old log Annie," Lincoln says, giving me the look. I give him one right back. "This year I'm in charge," I announce, "and this year we're starting at Turtle Rock." It's the afternoon of Rosh Hashanah, and we're on our way to do Tashlik. That's when you go to a place with flowing water, a lake, a river, a creek, and you throw in pieces of bread that represent mistakes that you've made in the last year. My friend Franny, who lives in New York, does it in a fountain in Lincoln Center, and my brother's friend Matt said he once did it in a toilet. My family has its own tradition. "Is everything we need in your backpacks?" Mom asks. "Apples? Yep. Honey? Yep. Bread? Yep, I've got the pocket knife, Mom says. Follow me, I say, leading them into the woods behind our house. This time of year, the trail is lined with trees changing color. I've planned 4 stops along the way: Turtle Rock, Billy Goat's Bridge, Gypsy Landing, and finally Old Log. Okay, everyone, I announce. While you're walking, think of one really good thing you want to remember from last year. We hike quietly while everyone thinks. When we get to Turtle Rock, I find 4 stones that can write and give one to each person. Okay, what good thing do you remember? Link goes first. He writes B-U-S on Turtle Rock. I learned to ride the bus by myself, he says, and it's really cool. I can go anywhere. Then Dad gets up. He scratches the letters K-O-R-O-S-T-Y-S-H-E-V on the rock. This year, Grandpa and I went to Ukraine. We visited the little village where he grew up. It's a trip that I'll always remember. Mom goes next. She uses her stone to draw a picture of a lady with long hair. I made a new friend this year, she says. She means Paula, who is also a writer. We help each other write, read each other's work, and talk about books. I'm so grateful for Paula. When it's my turn, I can't decide between my bike and knitting. Finally, I draw a picture of my bike. This year, I learned to ride a 2-wheeler, I say. Hooray! Then we stand up and look at what we've written. Together we shout, Amen! Dad scoops up some water from the gurgling creek and splashes it over Turtle Rock to erase our writing. Take only pictures, leave only footprints, he reminds us. Our next stop is Billy Goat's Bridge, I announce. When we get there, find something that represents what you want to throw away from last year. Start thinking. On the way to Billy Goat's Bridge, we search the woods for something to throw away. By the time we get there, we each have something in our hands. We sit down and start explaining. Dad holds up an acorn cap that looks like a tiny mouth. I want to throw away saying bad things about people, he says. You once said Mr. Frischberg looked like a frog, I remind him. Exactly, Dad admits as he throws the acorn cap over the bridge. Lincoln goes next. I want to throw away being mad at Stephen Pinker. He broke my calculator, but it was an accident. Stephen has red hair, so Lincoln throws a handful of red maple leaves into the water. Then it's Mom's turn. I want to get rid of the habit of saying yes when I really mean no. That's very hard for me. I'll agree to go to lunch with Abigail when I really need to work. She throws a Y-shaped twig into the falls and waves goodbye to yes. When it's my turn, I say, I had a hard time making friends at camp last summer. I want to throw away being so shy. The rock I toss into the creek looks like a bunkhouse. Well, to me, anyway. There is one more thing to do before we leave Billy Goat's Bridge. I take out the bread and give everyone a chunk. Quietly, we break off little pieces and throw them into the water. These stand for private things that we feel sorry about or want to get rid of in the new year. Then we stand up and look down at the waterfall. Together we shout, Amen. On to Gypsy Landing, I announce. That's a big slab of rock on the other side of Billy Goat's Bridge. When we get there, I tell everybody to think about one thing they promised to do in the coming year. While everyone's thinking, I gather some twigs and spell out the 4 numbers of the new Jewish year on the highest part of the rock. Now, take off your shoes and socks, I tell them. When you make your promise, dip 1 foot in the stream and make a footprint on the New Year rock. I vow to put all our family photos into albums, Mom says, dipping her foot into the cold stream. Who hasn't made that promise? I promise to keep visiting Archie Measle in the nursing home, Lincoln says, even though my bar mitzvah project is officially over. His family lives in Mexico, so he never gets visitors. I vow to start making challah every Thursday night, Dad announces. He hops across Gypsy Landing on 1 foot and makes a footprint facing the new year. When it's my turn, I put both feet into the water to make 2 wet prints. I'm going to wake up early so I can get to school on time. Then we all stand up and look at our footprints. Together we shout, Amen. Last stop is Old Log, I say. Follow me. When we get there, Link empties his backpack. We all straddle fat Old Log. Dad takes the pocket knife and cuts apple slices for everyone. I open the jar of honey and we pass it around. Eating apples dipped in honey symbolizes the sweetness of the Jewish New Year. we recite a special Tashlik prayer that Mom wrote. God, we have thrown out our mistakes and regrets, and we have picked the best things from the year to keep with us. Help us start over. Help us remember our vows and promises, and protect us this whole year long. Then we stand up and look at each other. Together we shout, Amen.
This is the time that we set aside for the offering in order to give toward the financial vitality of this community. And 25% of our undesignated collection goes to an organization in the local community. For the month of January, we are partnering with Clemson Child Development Center, and we are also collecting food items for Clemson Community Cares Food Bank. And we thank you very much for your donations. And those at home can use the website to donate, and you will see options there for paying your pledge and donating toward these organizations. And thank you for your generosity.
Well, this week we have a very unique situation in which nobody turned in joys and concerns. Some weeks we have as many as 17, which I think is our record, and sometimes this happens. I do want to still offer a time to honor that we have those that aren't here with us, some recovering from surgery. We have Janine, who is continuing to be on hospice. We have people that are still traveling or getting settled back into the phases of life. And so I want to honor these joys and concerns this morning, those that may not be spoken, but that we are aware of. And so I'm going to just put one stone. I'm stealing Barbara's job and putting a stone honoring all of those that we know have things going on in their lives, that are recovering, those that aren't here with us this morning, because they are still such a part of this community. And now we are going to sing our children out to their religious education with Karen and Meg this morning. So if you'll join in singing Go Now in Peace.
The reading this morning is from Sarah Klinger Osborne, and it's called Toast, boast, and oath. She says, every January, my friends and I gather to celebrate the new year with a ritual that I call toast, boast, and oath. This practice is loosely based upon the old Germanic and Anglo simbel or sumbel, which means feast. I learned of this modern interpretation from an old friend. We sit in a circle with our favorite mugs or goblets filled with apple juice. After each person speaks in each round, everyone raises their mugs in cheerful acknowledgement and takes a sip. First, around the circle, each person takes a turn offering a toast. The toast is a moment of gratitude, sending words of blessing and thanks to someone. It's lovely to begin with this practice of gratitude because it often leads to greater generosity of spirit as the ritual continues. The second round of the ritual is the boast. This is an opportunity for each of us to reflect upon something we're proud of accomplishing in the past year, whether it's small or grand. And the third round of the ritual is the oath. This is a promise that we each make for the new year. I like to keep it simple by making it a one-word answer. It's easier to hold up the oath if you keep it simple. This one-word oath helps me set an intention and guides me through the coming year. Last year, for example, my word was courage. Courage is no easy choice. I had to be brave, take risks, and be willing to surrender my perfectionism and be honest about what I need. And sometimes in this year, that meant rest or having the courage to say a holy no in order to say hell yes. The coming year is hot with many issues of justice in a world that's hurting and in conflict. So it's appropriate that I pick a blazingly strong oath. I'm choosing the word vulnerability. This word accompanies many challenges for me to speak hard truths, to ask for help, to side with love, even when it's uncomfortable. Oaths are an opportunity to grow in spirit. So here's the question. What toast, boast, and oath might you offer this January?
Thank you, Barbara. So today our service is going to be focused a little bit more on a meditation of setting intentions and of letting goes. It's not going to be exactly the idea that you heard in the Time for All Ages or in the reading that Barbara just shared. But we're going to have a time kind of a spoken meditation to help you think about something that you would like to let go of and something that you would like to carry with you into this new year. I like to think of it as a setting of an intention. A word, a few words, and so before we get started, I don't want you to necessarily write something down at the moment, but if you have or want to, I'm not telling you can't, but does everybody have two little pieces of paper? A white one that will dissolve in water, so this will be the one that you write something you want to let go of, and we'll have a ritual where you can bring it forward and place it into the bowl of the water in just a little bit, and it will dissolve away. And then we will have this little piece of paper. Yours might be green or lavender. that you can write something on that you wish to carry with you, with the idea that you will continue to have it with you. Whether you put it in your wallet where you might see it occasionally, you take it home and put it on your bathroom mirror or your refrigerator, or have it just somewhere that can remind you that this is the intention. This is what you want to carry into the next year. And a little bit of logistics before the meditation. So, when we are finished with the meditation, I will cue Cory to start playing some music, and I will invite this side to come up first, and you'll come up around and go back down the left, your left aisle, and then back up the right to where you're in your seat. And then we'll do the same thing for the middle section and for the right section. And I want to let the folks that are in the social hall know that they have a bowl that has water in it in there as well. So they can either come in here and place their note to dissolve in this bowl, or you have one back there that you can utilize. And if you're at home, I'd love you to write a note for both of these things. And you can, instead of it dissolving, maybe tear up the note of what you want to let go of. So, logistics out of the way. I invite you into a time of meditation, settling in, maybe putting your feet on the floor if that is comfortable for you. Settle in, maybe rolling your shoulders or moving your jaw. Closing your eyes or relaxing your gaze. Feel where you are. Reach down into the earth through the soles of your feet. Feel the breath moving in and out of your body. Maybe taking a little bit deeper breath, holding it for a moment before releasing it, either quietly or with a burst of air. Let your body relax. Visualize that air moving through your circulatory system into your fingers and toes. Then I want you, now that you're settled into your body, to feel what is maybe been holding you back, that thing that you really maybe don't want to carry into this new year with you. As you visualize that, think about a word or a few words that might be represented of that thing you wish to let go of. Focusing on that for a moment, I invite you to breathe in. You'll write this on the dissolving paper and breathing out, but also maybe letting it go with your breath as you breathe in. Let go with your exhale. As we shift our thoughts into this new year, into this January of unknowns, I invite you to consider what will nourish your soul, what will help renew you, what intention, word or a few short phrases that can help ground you, whatever this year brings. As you continue to visualize that which meets your needs this coming year, continue to breathe, breathing in and out. And as you are comfortable doing so, maybe start to wiggle your fingers and toes, slowly opening your eyes and bringing your awareness back into this space. Taking a moment to find your pieces of paper, writing what you would like to let go of on the white piece, and on the colorful piece, write something you would like to carry into this year with you. Now just take a moment for you to be able to do that, and then we will start with this side of the room. I'm going to wait until I see some pencils stop writing for a second. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Cory to start playing, and then in just a moment we'll invite you to come forward and drop your piece of paper into the bowl, and I'm going to ask Barbara if she'll help kind of keep us moving a little bit this morning. Did anybody else notice that as the paper dissolved, the words sat on the water for a moment before they faded away or before someone put their next piece of paper on top of it? I wasn't planning on saying this because I didn't know until I saw it, but how does that represent, even when we're ready to let go of something, sometimes it lingers a little bit. Sometimes we have to work on helping it let go. That next person coming along and putting theirs in might help us let go. Thank you for your willingness to engage in this ritual. I would like to offer another prayer for this new year. In this new year, may we leave behind the weight of unfulfilled resolutions, of unrealized dreams, of unrealistic expectations. May we unpack the heavy weight of stories that tell us we are unworthy or unloved. May we remember that we each carry inside of us a spark of the divine. In this new year, may we carry kindness, gentleness, and hope that holds us through even the hardest of days and the most daunting risks. May we carry the weight of memory that reminds us of who we are and the weight of spirit that reminds us of who we are becoming. May we carry the seed of knowledge that teaches us that improvement and growth aren't linear or individualistic, but are cyclical and communal. May we carry the wisdom to seek rest and connection, to lean into mutual care. May we carry the certain belief that when we have patterns of thinking and behaving that harm ourselves or others, we can seek resources that will help us move towards healing, help us move towards letting go. May we carry the knowledge that happiness and success take many shapes, and one of those shapes is purpose. May we carry purpose lightly, trusting that it changes and evolves and surprises us. May we carry curiosity, wonder, and the ability to be surprised. This year, may we carry space for all our flaws, all of our longings, and all of our love, remembering that the truly daring adventure of life is not to be better, best, but how to show up wholly, authentically, lovingly as ourselves. May we carry these prayers and carry each other into this new year. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to remain in your seat and join in singing number 1009 in the Teal hymnal, the meditation on breathing. And the words will be on the screens as well. We're going to do this just a few times through, and I'll give Cory a cue when we stop.
Breathe in.
have to keep remembering to turn off and on my mic so y'all don't hear me singing up here. Have any of you ever set a New Year's resolution? A handful of you. Now, for those that have set a New Year's resolution, how long, and you can just say, have you kept it longer than 3 months? I heard sometimes from one person. So this is the danger of what we typically think of as New Year's resolutions. Often they come and go with the best of intentions. Maybe it's you want to go to the gym. I've seen statistics, I don't have them in front of me, but at some point, people make this resolution that they're going to get healthy, they're going to get a gym membership. And gyms see an uptick in memberships at the beginning of the year, and then slowly they start to fade back to their regular numbers. Maybe we make a commitment and say we're going to stop eating a certain food, whether it is a sugary food or maybe giving up a meat or another type of food, and sometimes we stick to that. But other times, especially if it's not health related or ethically related, it's easy to just be like, but I really want it. I have a weakness for Cookouts milkshakes. And it is so hard, the idea of completely giving up ice cream. I've never made that pledge, ever. Not going to. But our New Year's resolutions are often surface level. They're not big changes of what we want to hold on to or what we want to let go of. Instead, they're often fixated on something we want to change in the moment about ourselves. I have a friend that I've heard colleagues say that they write down a series of goals. Actually, I saw a whole thread on this on social media recently about what different colleagues do as they start a new year. But the ones that made the goals are a few specific things, not necessarily something they're going to do all year long, but I want to do this. I want to read these books. That's one I've seen most common, is that there's a list of books that they want to read in the next year. And knowing most of my colleagues, they achieve that pretty quickly. Sometimes it's a knitting project or other things that people want to make sure they do during that year. But I really liked the ideas that we heard in the Time for All Ages or in the Toast, Boast, and Oath readings and the ritual of letting something go, honoring something that was good, and thinking about how we want to commit ourselves. And I think this really is deeper than that. So, do you think you tell a story of who you are? Do you tell stories about your life to other people? Maybe, sometimes. But if we really think about it, every single day, we are telling the story of who we are through our actions, through how we show up in the world. And there's a quote from Doctor Who when Matt Smith was the doctor, and he said, "We're all stories in the end, so make it a good one." Are we making our stories a good one? Do the intentions that we set, do the things that we do when we are in community help tell a story that leaves a mark on the world, the mark that we want to leave on the world? Because heaven knows, we've all made mistakes. At least I think we all have, at least at one point or another in life, right? So the thing is, if we make those mistakes and acknowledge them and move into repair and renewal with others in our lives, we can make even those mistakes a part of our good stories, of what we tell about ourselves and about others. As a community, we have a story to tell, and our principles and our values, in the ways we live those values. Because rather than a strict covenant, a strict creed in which you have to agree on, we have something that is often said, that we believe in deeds, not creeds. I've also heard a colleague say that we pray with our feet, which means that we are active and we go out and we do things, or we think about things that are beyond just thoughts and prayers. And sometimes we do a really good job of that, and other times not as much. But I think the stories that we tell have a power in and of themselves to represent what we believe. And we don't all have to believe the exact same thing, which is the beauty of Unitarian Universalism. It is a pluralism that brings various different groups of people together, not telling a single story, not honoring just one sacred text, but honoring the beauty that comes from the many when we come together around shared covenants, shared understanding of values and principles. So I don't like the idea of just having a New Year's resolution. I've tried that, and I don't think it worked very well. I found that if I wanted to go to the gym, I had to have paid for a trainer, otherwise I would stop going. I figured if I spent that extra money, though, I better show up. It was somebody else's time that I was taking up. But I also want to encourage us to think about how we take care of ourselves, because who knows what is coming with this next year, with the political unrest, with the economic unknowns, with wars that are happening, with climate change that is happening all around us. We don't know what is going to come. And I don't want to completely overshadow I don't want to repeat, rather, what Way shared last week for anybody that was here. He talked about rest and renewal. And what I do want to name is the necessity of rest and renewal, especially when times are hard. But that doesn't mean that we stop doing the hard thing. It just means that we need to find a way to ground ourselves, that we need to find a way to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world in a spiritual way. There's an illustration that I may have mentioned before, maybe some of you have heard it before, about spoon theory. Has anybody heard about spoon theory? So, a few people. So it's commonly, I think, comes from community with disabilities dealing with chronic ongoing illnesses, but it's also been adopted from neurodivergent communities, including ADHD and autism, and those with anxiety. Being able to kind of think of our energy in terms of spoons. So if you go to the drawer and it's all full of spoons, and you think about everything that you do throughout the day, and how many spoons that takes. Getting up out of bed, taking a shower, eating breakfast, driving to work. Each one of those things takes energy. But if you're struggling with depression or your brain doesn't work in the same way, I've heard so many friends and colleagues that struggle with ADHD talk about how even doing a simple task, like remembering to brush your teeth, takes extra steps. Like going and, okay, I've got to go get my toothbrush. I have to find the toothpaste. I have to actually stand here and brush my teeth and not leave the toothbrush just sitting on the counter while I thought of something else that I needed to go do. But if we think about our lives, our interactions, our day-to-day, in terms of how many spoons we have, sometimes what is going on in the world, sometimes what is going on in our personal lives takes more spoons. And so we might have to decide where we want to use our energy. What is most important to us? Sometimes that's just getting through the basics of providing, going to your job, getting money so you can pay rent, so that you can pay a mortgage, so that you can buy food, so that you can do these things that are important just for basic survival. And then there might be some energy left over, if we're lucky, which hopefully we have some energy that we can devote to things that we enjoy doing. Whether it's going hiking or kayaking or painting or writing poetry, taking photos, whatever it is that gives you joy and can help renew your spirit. Whether it's coming here, going to the Socratic Cafe, it being involved with, is it our daily rest that we do meals for Habitat for Humanity. Maybe there's something that you do connected to this congregation. And there's also other things that the world needs our attention, whether it's about book banning or other things that are going on in our local communities that need our attention. So my hope as we go into the new year is that we find ways to rest and to renew our spirits by being in community together, by encouraging each other, by reminding each other of the things that we hope for, individually and collectively. My hope, my prayer, as prayers that I've shared in the service, are that we are at a point that we can move forward into this new year with intention, with purpose, with an oath that what we want to achieve, how we want to be, but what stories are we telling? I hope in the end, my story, our stories, will be a good one. May it be so. May we make it so. And blessed be. You are now invited to rise in body, mind, or spirit, wherever you are, to join in singing number 83, Winds Be Still. And this one is one that I'm not sure we're as familiar with, but we're going to give it a go. As you go forth today, in the weeks and months ahead, as we move into this new year, may we move forward with intention. May we move forward with purpose. May we move forward creating a story of hope, of peace, of justice, of love. May we create a story of who we are and who we hope to become. May you go in peace, and may you return in love. Thank you, Cory, Worship Associate.